It took longer than I anticipated, but we are here for episode 12 of the Jake Ellenbogen Show. I am Jake Ellenbogen, and today I want to be talking about some golf, my journey with that. I'm going to be talking about, I've seen a lot of fans being upset with coaches that are being hired in the NFL right now, being promoted. So I'm going to talk about that. And I want to talk about Reacher Season 2, kicking that off, because, look, I got to tell you, Reacher, if you have not watched on Amazon Prime, it is not the most realistic show, but it is such a fun time. It is such a fun time. Alan Ritchson, most likely you've seen him in Titans, the DC show, or you've seen him in Blue Mountain State as Thad Castle. But Alan Ritchson is perfect as Reacher. Mind you, this is based on a book made by Lee Child, and a book series. I mean, there's like 11 of them. And if Reacher sounds familiar, you're probably thinking of Jack Reacher, which the character is Jack Reacher, but it's just called Reacher. Jack Reacher was a movie franchise, only had 2 movies with Tom Cruise as the lead actor, and Rosamund Pike was also in that, and Jay Courtney. But look, I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise as an action star. I don't know how much better it gets than Tom Cruise. I mean, a guy that does his own stunts, you got to give him all the credit in the world. But man, Alan Ritchson, just the bulk, he is perfect for Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher is supposed to be an absolute behemoth, a brute, if you will, but he's also Sherlock Holmes in the mind. And I love that, because just having a brute force guy, ex-military, like we've never gone down that road before, but making him like Sherlock Holmes, that is really the cool thing. That's what sets this kind of thing apart. The first season was really, really good. For those of you who haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I'm not going to do like a spoiler review or anything like that, just a spoiler-free review. The first season's great. It's got Willa Fitzgerald. If you guys have ever seen the Scream TV series, you need to, by the way, if you haven't. Willa Fitzgerald is the main character in that. She was great as a Scream queen or final girl, whatever you want to call her. And she's really good in season 1 of Reacher. Ritchson, of course, is the main character, playing Jack Reacher. And I mean, without getting into too many details, because I don't want to spoil anything, it's just a wicked fun time. It's a really good action show, drama. It is not for everyone, so to speak. It's not for kids. I'll also say that. There are some themes in it, but I think when you just look at the job Alan Ritchson has done with this, the job that, the Nick Santora, who developed it, the job he did, Lee Child obviously creating the story to even have an adaptation of. But yeah, it's an action, crime, drama, detective fiction thriller. I mean, that's a mouthful, a lot of stuff there, but that's what I would say about that. There's some new characters. There's some characters that are brought back in the second season. But if you have not seen it already, I highly recommend it. It's 8 episodes for each season. It's one of those shows that you don't want to watch. You don't want to start when it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. I can't sleep. I'm going to turn on Reacher. Good luck. You're going to want to sit there and finish it all in one sitting. You're going to want to know more. There's a lot of suspense. There's conspiracy. There's a lot of different things going on. So just a really fun show, man. I thought the visuals were really good. Amazon Prime stepped it up. To be fair, I like most of Amazon Prime's shows that I've watched, but this is one that's going to get a season 3. And if you were worried about it getting canceled or anything like that, and that's why you haven't started it, it's doing very well. So it's not going to get canceled. I think they're already about to film season 3, even though season 2 just came out. Serinda Swan is in the second season. She's outstanding. Malcolm Goodwin's in both seasons. Robert Patrick's in the second season. There's some good actors and actresses and whatnot. But yeah, I really enjoy this show. It gives me Punisher vibes. If you guys have ever seen The Punisher, the Netflix show, really does give me some Punisher vibes. But I feel like Frank Castle was more methodical as far as just from a combat perspective. Both are ex-military and both have conspiracies, and there are similarities about the show and whatnot, and love interests and all that, whatever. But I think with Reacher, you get more of a Sherlock Holmes depiction where it's not just, oh, I'm going to plan this attack out, it's more than just fighting. It's like, okay, you find out, okay, this crime and this person committed it, and putting two and two together. Whereas, Frank Castle Punisher with John Bernthal starring, and that's also another show you got to check out if you haven't already. But with John Bernthal in The Punisher, that wasn't always the case. He had some traps set up. He was methodical, but he wasn't like a Sherlock Holmes. Like, he could, have the greatest detective work ever. He wasn't like incredibly intelligent. He was smart, and he was, cerebral, but he wasn't like on another level. Like, Reacher is essentially Sherlock Holmes. He's a brute force guy. He can destroy your car with one kick to the front of the grill. He could break your arm in an instant. I mean, just really, really strong. But then also he's somebody that's able to crack the case, and it makes it really fun. The funny thing is, as you go through and you watch media, and, you watch different TV shows and movies and so forth, you'll notice different patterns. Like, I saw things, Peacock, I saw Poker Face, a lot of Poker Faces in this. Not a lot, but like that whole, he's a drifter essentially. That helps people, to put it really, really lightly. But Reacher's a drifter, and then you have Natasha Lyonne's character in that show. She's, kind of a drifter that just helps people. And then you have, like I said, elements of course, the movie Jack Reacher, although it feels really different, which I like. It's more dark. But the movie Jack Reacher, and also, I mentioned The Punisher. It has, elements of that. It has elements of, it's kind of a bunch of different things, but it's its own thing. And that's the thing I really enjoy about it. And Reacher's just really likable. I think it's just the way Alan Ritchson, really happy-go-lucky guy in real life, but when he's playing Reacher, there's not really like he's cracking up, he's smiling, he'll make a joke here and there, but for the most part, he's just a badass. Like, it's a really fun show to follow. A lot of stuff going on. If you like action sequences, and I'll be honest with you, full disclosure, I was never that big into action when I was younger. I really just got into action like recently. I had always loved Bond and Wick, but I think this, within the last year or so, I really got into action. I got into action movies and TV shows and all that. So definitely check it out if you get a chance to. It got an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. I think that's probably where I would put it, maybe 8 point. If we're doing, percentage, I'd probably put 8.7 out of 10. Just know it's not going to be the most well thought out show ever. There are a lot of issues with it, from, more of a formulaic standpoint. Like, it is very formulaic to, a lot of those action films and movies and shows and all that. But I think it's a really fun way to spend, a sitting or two in front of the TV. Like, if you're going to watch something that's just like, I can shut my brain off a little bit, but it doesn't make me feel like an idiot. It's just, there's some moments where you're like, all right, this is the show for you. It's a lot of fun. It's got, elements of a bunch of, really fun, different TV shows and movies that have gone around this genre. And I think Alan Ritchson, I'm hoping he just takes off. I hope the career just takes off after this show, because I know he's fine. He could play Reacher forever, I think, is one kind of something he said. It wasn't forever, but it was something like that. And obviously he's not going to do that. And I don't know if they make anything outside of season 4, because I think they're going to go up to season 4 and end it. There's like 11 books, but they're not going in order or anything like that. So, yeah, Alan Ritchson, I'm hoping just blows up after this. Okay, I'm a big fan of his. I liked him as Thad Castle. I have not seen Titans. That's one thing, getting into this year and having already been in kind of a rhythm, watching TV shows, watching movies, I'm really fascinated what I'm going to be able to do this year because, I love making content. That's my full-time job. But like when I have time, it's either I play a video game or something, or I'm going to watch a movie. And, I think when like I'm looking at the movies that I've seen already in 2024, the first month of 2024 isn't even over. And I've already seen the Kill Bill franchise, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I've already seen Reservoir Dogs, Saltburn, Lift, Blade Runner, and Extraction. I feel really good because, the movies that are still on my list, my watch list, are just iconic. I mean, you're talking about The Godfather 2 and 3, Seven, Schindler's List, Django Unchained, The Shawshank Redemption, Scarface, Casino, Blade Runner 2043, The Judge, Inglourious Bastards, Catch Me If You Can, The Irishman, Raging Bull, Extraction 2, The Departed, Imitation Game, Babylon, Amsterdam, Rear Window, Killers of the Flower Moon. There's all these different ones. Air, Reality, Murder Mystery 2. I mean, there's a lot of different, movies and stuff I put together. I have to say this. I really do need to see Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. The reason I say that is because the remake of Roadhouse, this movie came out in 1989. The remake of Roadhouse is actually coming out next month, I believe, or 2 months from now. And the main character is Jake Gyllenhaal. He's playing Patrick Swayze's character, and Conor McGregor's in it, and Billy Magnuson. So there's some decent actors in that, or at least big names. I don't know how great Conor McGregor is as an actor, but interesting though, and definitely something that's on my radar. So I want to see the first Roadhouse before anything, the original, and then see the remake. It looks like the remake, they're putting a UFC spin on it, so that's something to keep in mind. That's probably what connects McGregor to it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And look, Jake Gyllenhaal can do whatever, and I'm going to watch it. I mean, I think he's one of the best actors in the business, so I'm really excited for that. And I have other ones that I want to see. I want to watch The Gentleman. I want to watch Birdman. I never saw Birdman. The Game. I never saw The Game. Blood Diamond. Brooklyn's Finest. I mean, just there's a lot of different ones I want to see, and it's like, you don't always have. You don't have all the time in the world, So that's one thing. I want to catch up on. I want to get back to like rewatching Die Hard because I don't remember most of them. I want to see all of Jake Gyllenhaal's movies that I haven't seen yet. And a big thing I want to do as far as media is concerned is I really want to watch all of the James Bond films, and I want to rank them all. That is going to be a tough task. It's not going to be easy. I really wish, and I'm going to ask you guys this because you could drop in the comment section or whatever, but do you guys ever wish that like God himself could come down from the heavens and let you know, like, yeah, you have this ranked at this spot. That's how you feel. Because I find ranking movies and shows and albums and video games, all that, I do it every year, but I always find I don't feel like it's 100% set in stone. Like I feel like I don't know for real. And I don't know if it's information overload or just, whatever, but it's hard to know exactly because like, how do you rank them? And like, there's so many different things. Like, what if you were feeling, really down the day that you watched this movie, and then this movie just gave you a different sense of feeling, and there's just like a bias there. It like there's an anomaly factor. It's so hard to rank movies, TV shows, etc. And it's like, I just wish like God himself could just come down from the heavens and be like, Jake, you know what? that is actually your favorite movie, because I can tell. I'm looking at your brain pattern and all that. I could tell. Like, I wish there was somebody that could tell me, because I don't know for sure. Like, I do my rankings, and then after the fact, they'll be like, eh. And you know what? It's funny, because I would even equate this. It's draft season, of course. I would equate this to the NFL draft. There have been times where I'm like, I rank a guy at 6, and then after the fact, I go back and I'm like, you know what? I kind of feel like he's the third best player at the position, or maybe he's number 1. And it's like, in that moment that I ranked him, maybe I was in a different headspace. Does anyone feel that? Like, if you're listening to this, do you ever feel like that? Where, if somebody asked you to rank the top 5 places to travel, and you've traveled all over the world, in that moment, you might not say the same thing you would say 2 days later or 3 days later, something that jogs your memory. And that's like one of the things that always kind of comes to me is like, ranking things is just difficult. Like, I mean, how do you rank it? Like, when do you have to ask the question, like, could you live without this or this? Like, how would that work? Like, I guess that's the funny thing is I rank stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like, shit, maybe I'm not ranking it correctly. I don't know. It's not a huge deal, but it is something that I think about. But yeah, I mean, man, there's just so many different movies and TV shows and whatnot, and just ranking them is always a pain. But this year should be interesting, though. Like I said, a lot of movies on the slate. Plenty of shows I got to watch, and I'm looking forward to Rebel Moon's Part 2, which I don't remember the name of it, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. And, just kind of looking at like the new stuff. Like, I was on TV Time and I was looking like, all right, what are the new episodes out like on TV? Like, anything good? And like, for the most part, it's not really anything that I'm interested in, like in the immediate. I mean, Bad Batch, I got into it early on and then I got out of it. Halo, I heard, is terrible, but I'll give it a shot at some point. Invincible, we had an episode on Invincible. I'm not a fan, and I will never subscribe to the belief of having a mid-season finale. I'm not a fan of that. You had 4 fucking episodes. Why do I have to wait 3-4 months just to see the other 4? It's really fucking stupid. 46 days away from Invincible, season 2, episode 5. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So yeah, Bad Batch, Halo, Invincible. The Fallout show kicks off. The pilot is April 12th on Amazon Prime. Cannot wait for that. If anyone ever played the Fallout, the Fallout game, that's what that is based on. And what's really funny to me is that I actually used a Fallout reference earlier today. So I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I did. It is. I actually did that. So yeah, it's it's one of those things. But looking forward to it. That show is going to be a lot of fun. The Boys season 4 is going to be released this year. Marvel's Zombies, Disney Plus. It's going to be animated, but it's going to be released this year, so I'm excited for that. I mean, aside from that, that's really all I see here on this app. I mean, there's not really just anything else showing up. So, but then there are other shows that I can watch, right? There's shows that I can catch up on. Suits is one of them. That thing blew up to all hell. I mean, if you think about it, like, everyone was talking about Suits. Kind of crazy, the marketing for that. I mean, that's a show that's been out for a minute, and now all of a sudden it's really picking up steam. It has been picking up steam. So I only saw like 1 episode. I really liked it. I don't know if I'll keep watching it, but I do like it. Black Mirror will probably be coming out with a season 7 at some point soon. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath there. I watched The Bear. I watched the first 3 episodes. I really liked it, and I never went back to it. Part of me always wanted to, dive into Cheers and Frasier like further, because I've watched, my brother loves those shows, and, he always has them on, and like, I'll watch when, I'm in the room, but I've never gone and actually like binged watched those. So, that's the one thing for me. And then you have shows like Shadow and Bone. That's like, I would like to get into Shadow and Bone, but like, it got canceled. I mean, I think that's my one thing with Netflix charging as much as they do, like if you're going to keep charging, can you at least like stop canceling these shows that we're trying to watch and get into, because it's getting a little ridiculous. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of tired of it. I think it's a waste of our time. I feel like I've talked about this before, but figured I'd bring it up again. So for those of you who have been following my journey, I haven't been super open about it lately just because I've just been, nose to the grindstone trying to get better and everything. But I got to tell you, man, it is so fun playing golf. It is so fucking fun playing golf. And I'm not even playing golf yet. I'm not even on a course. Remember, I started like 4 weeks ago, whatever. I've taken 2 lessons. I've gone out almost 20 times, maybe 20 more times to the virtual range and, virtual games and all that. And it's so much fun. I've gotten so much better. Today I hit, it was like 220 yard drive, 240, whatever. That was like my best, and like that's the thing. Now I have the driver working. Like before I couldn't use the driver. It just wasn't working for me. It's a different swing in a sense, so I get it. But now it's like I love using the driver, and I'm just trying to get everything. My coach, he's been, kind of building up my swing slowly but surely. So I'm just trying to get everything in, rhythm, and just seeing today was just such a beautiful day to just see so much improvement. I went with my father, and we were playing, and it's night and day. I think it's just all around. I'm getting better at chipping. I'm getting better at driving. I'm getting better at hitting the fairway woods, the 3 and the 5. Getting better with the irons. I mean, it's all really cool. It's cool to see the game coming together. And I'm very new, so I have a long way to go, and I'm aware of that. But just those little moments that you could be like, wow, I really hit that 3 wood 198 yards. I had never even done anything like that before. Just stuff like that. So it's been really fun. I got to tell you, I want to make my own simulator so bad, but wherever I go next, because I'm moving in May, staying in my local area, but wherever I decide to move, it's going to be like a rental, probably like a townhouse. So it's not like I can just make my own setup. You know what I mean? I'd probably have the funds to do it, but I just worry if you're renting, how is that going to look if they come in and they see that? Or like, who's to say I have, the impact screens, and who's to say I don't put a divot in the wall? I mean, if I'm renting, it's just, I don't feel like it's a smart play. I don't think you can do it, to be honest with you. So I don't think I will, but man, I want one of those virtual things so badly, because I'll tell you right now, I'd set it up. My dad definitely wants to do it. And I mean, it costs a lot of money. I mean, the supply and demand of virtual golf right now is through the freaking roof. I don't have to tell you this if you're into golf, but it's a lot of money. It's $50, $60 a pop, and you're getting 1 hour of those. So if you do, all of a sudden you do 2 hours, and now that's $100. Now you get to split that between however many people you go with, but keep in mind, by having more people, you still cut into the time. So like, yeah, they're going to charge you the same. They're not going to charge you per person. But the deal is, if you go with, say, 5 people, right, you now have to share that hour with 5 people. So it might be $10 for all of you, but you might be getting like 4, you might get 4 holes. It's not going to be something big. You're not going to be able to get through 9. You might not be able to get through 9, and you definitely won't be able to get through 18. So that's the only thing. It all kind of adds up in the end. And yeah, I'd love to surprise my dad and get a virtual, like build a virtual thing. But at the same time, he does so much research that if I was to surprise him, I think it would just be counterproductive in a sense. Like, he would know what to get. I wouldn't. I'd probably end up getting ripped off and spending more than I had to. But the point is, like, if I don't own property, I'm not going to put that thing in, run the risk of breaking a glass, a window or something. Who knows? I mean, I'm not trying to run that risk, but I mean, no, at my dad's house, that's different. It's just a matter of, getting that space set up. I mean, you don't have all the space in the world to do it in a home, in a garage. So, I definitely want to do that though at some point. We'll see. But man, it's just it's definitely one of those things, man. It's one of those things I really want. I'd be really excited about, but yeah, I love doing it though. And I think the big thing is, like, I can't wait to go out on the courses, even when there's not a course day, just go on the driving range. Do you know how I'll go there all the time? When it's nice out, I'll go there all the time. But like, the thing is, it's not going to be nice out in January, February, March, April, and May. June is when it starts to get nice. So that's the thing. Then you have December and November, not nice. October, still not great. So the majority of the time, I mean, you're going to be inside. You don't have to be, but if you want to play in the bright lights of the sun and its rays and everything, and you want it to be like warm or hot, I mean, if you want to play in the heat, or if you want to play, where it's warm, New York for the most part isn't always going to be that way. It's just going to be that way from June, July, August, and into September, and then you'll start to need a jacket in October, November. All of a sudden, now you're bundling up, and it's like, yeah. So that's the only downside about this area in that sense. And that's what I keep saying. I mean, I'd stay in this area forever, just this area, if there wasn't, the cold I had to worry about. So that leads me to believe someday I'm going to get a winter home and I'll be much more happier. Plus, during that time, that'll be right around football season. Maybe I move out to, like, say, Arizona. I'm close to LA, and I can go to Rams games and stuff. I don't want to go to too many Rams games because, I like watching on TV. I like being able to, go live right afterwards. I have a system, but yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to have so many. It sounds like it's wedding season for me this year. I've been asked to go. I think it's like 4 different weddings I'm going to this year. 5 maybe. I don't know. It's something like that. One of them I already know is going to be on a Sunday. So I'm a good friend. I'm going to be going, but it absolutely cripples me in a way because, like, those are work days, but it's a work day that's not salary. You just don't get paid if you don't put out content. So it's like, for me, I'm hoping one of the Saturdays or Sundays in October, I'm hoping, like, the Rams are playing, they have a bye, or they're playing on a Monday or Sunday night, or not Sunday night, a Monday or a Thursday. But it's just, I don't like the odds. It's October. I don't know if there'll be a bye week yet. There might be one. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like week 6 or 7. Then maybe the Rams would have the bye then. But yeah, I'm very much concerned about that. Very much concerned. I'm way more concerned about that than finding a +1 for the +1 that I'm allowed to bring. That's what I'll say there. Way more concerned about missing a Rams game. You only get 17 guaranteed, so that's gonna sting. And I don't mean to be like that. Call me a bad friend all you want, but that is something that's on my mind. And I think it's worth talking about. But yeah, just pretty much, man, I'm really enjoying just the golf expedition, if you will. I'm going to be playing in March in Florida, so I'm really looking forward to that, finally on a course. Because, again, I just started, folks, so keep that in mind. That's why I haven't played on a course yet. But I'm going to continue taking lessons and just try to build up my swing and everything. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad because, I've made New Year's resolutions and not really followed through in the past. This is one of those ones I really intend to follow through on, and I have so far. It's just so much fun. Today was awesome. I can't stress it enough. So just using the new clubs and everything. Man, I love Cobra. Got a new bag. So my golf bag, super light. It's great. Great product, great brand. It's Puma's golf brand. Really cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not a super long episode this time, folks. I did want to touch on the last thing here. I did want to touch on the last thing. So Zach Robinson, for those of you who don't follow football, then you're free to skip. Obviously, you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. For those of you who do follow football, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Zach Robinson was the passing game coordinator and quarterback coach for the Rams. He just got promoted to offensive coordinator for the Falcons. So Zach Robinson got a promotion. He moved on to another location because there wasn't a promotion spot for him at the current job he was at. So he went to a new job. You're allowed to do that. It is totally fair. It is a promotion. It's not a lateral move. For those of you who have been asking what a lateral move is, it's when you go from the same position to another team with the same position, and there's no sort of promotion involved. You're doing the same thing, same role, and that's really it. As long as you weren't let go or fired or whatever. If you leave willingly and you go to another location that has the same role for you, that is a lateral move. Doesn't move you up the rungs, just keeps you on the same playing field. Now, if you go from passing game coordinator and quarterback coach to offensive coordinator, that is a promotion. And Zach Robinson, who was with the Rams since 2019 when he was hired right out of Pro Football Focus, he is heading to Atlanta to be the offensive coordinator under Raheem Morris, the new head coach of the Falcons, who was the Rams defensive coordinator. The reason I'm bringing this up is because there's something that's annoying me. I'm seeing it in comments sections. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I honestly don't care who said it. I'm just going to give my say. There are people that are mad. They're legitimately mad that he's leaving. They're mad at Zach Robinson for leaving. I will not root for Zach Robinson because he left. Screw him, all that. You have to understand how ridiculous that is. You're rooting against the guy because he wanted to have a promotion. That spot wasn't there. Half the league wanted to hire him. He was gone. It's good that he went with the former defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, went with familiarity, and is helping a guy you already know in Atlanta. But he was gone. He had way too much interest. I mean, there were about 15 teams that wanted him. That's almost half the league. The fact of the matter is this. You can't hate on the guy. He wasn't going to get promoted. There's already a guy there, Mike LaFleur. So because he wasn't going to get promoted with the Rams, he just made the smart decision hey, if I want to keep moving up the rungs, I can do that. He could stay with the Rams, but what happens if Mike LaFleur never leaves? So I think this is smart. It pushes his resume forward. This is a great move, and it works for both sides because this is the beauty of promotion and development and all of that, is now that a guy like Zach Robinson leaves, first off, it makes the Rams look good for developing him. So everything he does from moving forward looks good on the Rams. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it also helps out, former defensive coordinator Raheem Morris in his second instance as a head coach. So now he has familiarity. He has an up-and-comer. It's one of the best offensive coordinator candidates in football. That's why 15 teams wanted him, or maybe even more. So that's the second thing. The third thing is it opens up a spot for somebody else who is working their way up the rungs in the organization for the Rams. Whether that's KJ Black or Jake Peets, I don't know. But it would be cool. KJ Black, 2-year coach. He goes from Bill Walsh diversity fellowship program to offensive assistant this past year, was promoted to then, if he became a quarterback coach or passing game coordinator, that's awesome. And you found that, you developed him, he worked his tail off. It's a win-win. See, it's not always great to, it's never great to see a talented coach go, because you are going to be impacted negatively in most cases. But you have to understand, this is just one of those things that just isn't going away. Promotion is promotion. You should be happy for Zach Robinson. who turned what some would call a failed football career, which isn't really fair because he made the NFL, and a lot of us can't, attest to that ourselves. He made the NFL, was drafted in the 7th round by the New England Patriots in 2010. It didn't work out the way that maybe he would have wanted. So he pivoted into an analyst position at Pro Football Focus. And then he came to the NFL and he's been working under Sean McVay since 2019. You want to know how long ago that was? That was not only back when, Goff was the quarterback and everything. That was the year they traded for Jalen Ramsey. And that was the last year of the old uniforms before they switched to the rebrand. That's how long ago that was. So, yes, I'm absolutely happy for Zach Robinson. And you should be too. There's no need for hate. There's no need to, carry yourself better. If you're hating on a guy for, wanting a promotion, that's lame. Don't do that. But anyway, that's all I got. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Looks like we're going to be a day behind. It is what it is. I tried to get this out yesterday. It did not work. But hey, 12 episodes. I feel pretty damn good through 12. We're almost at 1,000 downloads too. So pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to the podcast. Be sure to drop a review. I need those 5-star reviews to combat all of the 1-star review bombs that we got. Would really help me out. And you can follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. I will see you guys or talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, folks. Later.